Dignity, where did it go? Out the roof.
Sorry.
You called her drafting the booth.
You snuck in. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good.
Well, hello, young lady. And I say young lady because you are.
Do you have a way
Well,
to print?
compared to Moses.
Pat, do you have a way to print? Do you have a way to print?
Upstairs. Brother's computer on the internet?
On this internet downstairs?
I'm sorry?
It's not on the internet downstairs?
No, we were on.
I will do this.
Yes, sir.
Could I do mine first?
Absolutely.
If you don't mind.
We can do that.
I have other duties that I need to attend to.
Oh, yes, no, that's no problem whatsoever.
And I'll still print out your stuff for you.
Okay,
Let me
so
get
Mr.
back.
Boise,
Thank you. I was here. I hope I didn't miss that.
Yeah, I got your email.
Yeah.
Call volume's a little lower than normal, isn't it?
I'm sorry?
The call volume's a little lower.
Yes, it is. We dropped, 5-8% from the previous month.
Right,
I think we're down to 178. Last month was 188.
right.
Let me get there real quick. I don't know why I'm having difficulty here. I had everything there, and then it disappeared. Me too. ESD4. I think it's because I went looking for that print. Here we go. Okay. So yes, 178 calls. Overall response time. I will send you a copy later, sir. I didn't print an extra. I'm sorry. Overall response time was 6 minutes. Again, 48% of that was 0 to 5 minutes, 43% between 6 and 9, and only 8% over that. And then when I review the runs for those that are over the 9-minute limit, they're all the extended mileage type runs that cause that to happen. Total number of calls within Divine was down. Last month 60 something, this month 47. Response time again within the city was 4 minutes, which was excellent. There was absolutely no calls that took more than 9 minutes. They were 100%. And then in the rest of the county, we had 131 calls. The total average response time on that was 7 minutes. And what I've done that you don't see, but in my calculations, any of the calls that were like, they came here, even though they were out, somebody drove to the station, response time was 0 because they were here, we were here. I removed those from the average. Any that were no
Are you
transport.
still getting a lot of those, the walk-ups?
Actually, we had more this month than we've had in a while. I was rather surprised. I don't remember the number, but it was 5 or 6. And remember back in the day, we used to have one a day, and now it's
Especially during the week, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Sometimes 2 or 3.
but I don't see all of them either. So there may be some where they don't record it that way. So it depends on how dispatch puts it on the deal.
So do your crews
So like for
document
example,
it
if our
as a
guys have a walk-up, they call the county. I don't know how the county books that.
Okay,
So
so you
all
don't know
I'll
how to
see
enter
is,
it.
yeah.
Okay.
But if my guys get the dispatch, it'll show it was a walk-up. Because they read the run report in the dispatch room. So, and talking about staff, that number has increased. And I'm glad. I love when people come here. They know we're here. It's
Easy to find them.
Huh?
Easy to find them.
Yeah, it is.
You're not looking for an answer.
Again, 88% of the calls within the county were within that 9-minute and 12% not. Again, mileage issues. I didn't find any significant time issues that weren't computer errors. what we did see this month is a significant increase in mutual aid.
I was looking at that.
Of the mutual aid, 16 during the month, 10 of those were covered by our own trucks, bringing from San Antonio. So while we were here, we got calls, and then bringing up the Moore truck, because that's been extremely helpful. I think Moore made 5 or 6 calls.
So
just
instead of
last
outside
week.
agencies, you're using your own for mutual aid?
Yeah, because we're closer. And then the other time, the other times it's been when we go to level 0, we send a truck down from town. Sometimes they sit here and do nothing, and then sometimes while they're here, we'll pop a call. And then sometimes they're not here yet, and we pop a call.
Yeah.
So it just varies. But when you look at the pages, you can see we're like 4430.
Yeah, where you got them set aside.
Yeah, those are all our trucks. I'm sorry? Oh, someone's on the phone. I'm sorry.
Yeah, once. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, we can hear you.
But outside of that, I think everything was good. Can't think of anything that was significant in this district.
Did you send the report?
I'm sorry?
Did you send a report via email?
A report. Yes.
I got it. Did you not do it? I didn't yet. Okay.
You can get yours?
I can. Okay. Yes.
Did you get your run report from Pat? One.
I don't have my package, so I don't have my login for striking it.
Okay.
So when you get to the last page, you'll see where, again, we didn't make any calls into Atascosa last month that were in that 30-day period.
Right.
Again, you see the average is 26% within the city limits of Divine, 11% in Natalia, and 63% in the county. We did not. We had one call to Lytle, but I couldn't tell if it was in the Atascosa county
Right, yeah, because
line.
it's all 3.
Yeah, it was really close, but I didn't count it because it didn't show, that way. And the address said Atascosa, but I think it was Medina County. And outside of that, I think everything was in line and worked well. And when the power outage we had here last month was not experienced by this facility.
Oh yeah, there was another one. Yeah,
Huh?
there was another one.
Yeah.
I was like, what? That
For
was
sure.
a while back.
Any more questions for Mr. Borsier? So do we want to go look at this old stuff now, or what do we want to do?
You can. Whatever you want to do.
Thank you, sir. You gonna bring Juan with you?
I won't forget.
Yeah, bring your computer.
Or if you, what is next anyways? If you want, we can go into and have a conversation with her.
That would be fantastic,
That way she
I
doesn't
think.
have to stay.
Yeah. So go into
Go into executive session.
executive.
I didn't open it till just
Yeah, just tell them we're going to executive session.
Okay.
I just sent you guys the CVC, whatever they're called.
CV?
The CDs. You said them both?
Yes. Juan, I just sent you an email.
You can't get it.
Girl, just,
I just been all wound up screaming, yeah, run, boys, run.
you are on my last nerve,
It's okay.
ma'am.
I don't have any nerves, it's okay.
Juan, I just sent an email to your personal email. It's the CV whatever for. I just literally.
Curriculum vitae.
Her resume, as I know it as. We just gotta wait. Miss Jessica, if you'll come and sit with us, ma'am.
Well, we're just waiting on the newspaper.
We're
guy
just
to
waiting
turn
for
all
the
this stuff
newspaper to
off.
turn it off.
Okay, we're gonna go into the
Yes,
yes.
session right now.
Just real, yes.
Come
Right
on
down
over
at the
here.
end, ma'am.
Sit down on your tax chair.
Outside?
No, he's coming back.
No, because Juan's getting off the Zoom meeting.
We try to keep y'all's time in mind because we know it's late, so we need to keep it here.
So I'm Marcus, I'm on the CPR team for Zoll.
I'm Shayla, I do the monitors and the AEDs.
And I'm Brian, I sell the transport ventilator.
So we're gonna show you 3 different pieces of equipment. I'm gonna go first because I have to get home, but this is our mechanical CPR device. So on the market, you have 2 types of devices. You have a piston-driven device, and then you have a load distributing band. So the piston will mimic manual compressions that push about 30 to 35% blood flow. We're actually grabbing the chest and we're squeezing the whole entire chest. So we're moving a lot of blood, head to toes. We're 3 times the amount of blood is our medicine. My cut. So yeah, I'm gonna have Brian help me here, but I'll kind of show you the operation. It all comes in a bag that's actually a mega mover. So you can put the patient on it, strap them in, have compressions going, and then extricate the patient with all within this carrying case. So that's the beauty of it as well. So it's really simple. What we're doing is this band goes around. You start compressions, and we'll do a little deployment here. You start compressions. This band comes down, takes a picture of the chest, and then it compresses the chest 20% anterior posterior. That's the algorithm in the medicine of this. So a couple things is that this reaches the biggest patient on the market. It's a 56-inch chest diameter. That's just your chest. That's not your shoulder. So it reaches a large patient. And it also, the capacity for the bags is 1,000 pounds and 400 pounds. So you're bigger patients, right? So I'll show you how it works. If you want to come over here. So a patient is in cardiac arrest. You're going to be doing CPR. So the main thing I want to show you is really the time that when we go from manual CPR to actually putting the patient on and this compressing. We really want to get that chest compression. So you'll start CPR again. Chest compression fraction to like 5 to 7 seconds off the chest. That's the beauty of this. And we teach all that in clinical deployment. So he's doing compressions, come off the chest. You press the green button. So we really want that within 7 seconds. Compressions start. So that's our medicine. You're perfusing from head to toes. You slow your call down. We have a strap that's going to strap the patient to the actual board on the side right here. So once the patient is strapped to the board, you can extricate the patient downstairs. You can lift them up at different angles. It'll default into 32 compressions of ventilation. You can switch it to continuous by pressing this button. So now this device won't stop until you tell it to stop. But the beauty is if you're getting him down, 2 or 3 flights of stairs, you can turn them this way, you can turn them to the side, all while compressions are going. The other devices on the market, they tend to migrate, so that 30%, if you're pushing that rod at a different place, it drops down to 5%. So how much are you really perfusing, right? So once the patient's legs are this way, you pull out your soft carrying case, you have a belly strap that also adheres to the patient, and then you can extract the patient with 2 people, 1, 2, 3, up and out. Typically there's a lot of people on cardiac arrest, so 4 people around, up and out, all while doing compression. So that's the whole medicine for this. This is power washable, this is water resistant, it's really easy to clean, but that's our medicine. This has been on the market for 20 years, so we have plenty of clinical data. I brought some with me. The PREMI study, which is 4,000 cardiac patients, and they compare all the devices and manual compressions. The AutoPulse was the only one that contributed to out of survival hospital rates that were significantly higher. So a lot of people, they measure like ROSC rates to getting the patient back, but we're all here to see that patient walk to their family.
They
So
don't
what?
play golf on Thursday, then they didn't make it back.
Right, that's right, yeah. So, I mean,
Let's say get out of the hospital and go play
yeah,
golf
let's
on Thursday.
go play golf on Thursday, go see your family, right? What is the best device out there that's gonna help that with our monitor, with our ventilation, with our CPR device? And the last thing I'll talk about is that this device talks with our monitor, and you'll see it here in a minute. You throw a puck right underneath here, and so it'll measure the rate and the depth, and it'll read on your monitor, and that all goes to our case review data. That way you can study the case after and really see the pauses and the compression fractions.
And that goes to our EPCR if we need to.
Correct. Yeah. So, any questions on this piece of equipment? No? Awesome. All right, I'm going to grab the other side of that real quick.
It keeps one person freeze.
Canada's not it's not successful. Well, if you're a medical person, you're a lay person,
This is our cardiac monitor. It's going to do everything we need to do from vital signs, 12 lead. We have some special things that set Zoll apart, specific to CPR, which I'll show you. But you're going to get everything normally you would get. So you have your 12, your leads, your SpO2, your blood pressure, your end tidal here.
Where's the end tidal?
Down here under this
that
little.
window?
Yep. So the reason it's like that is the device is rated IP55. So the military uses it. So that's why we don't have any connections in the front either. So no dust or anything like that particles can get in there. It's the lightest device on the market. And then on this side, you're gonna have your electrotherapy cable and then your BVM cable, which I'll show you here in a minute. So first I'm gonna show you just your standard vital signs, right? So your most common call and 2 button presses here. Oh, perfect.
And we have a volunteer.
If it's high, it's your fault.
I'm going to head out as I'm intimately familiar with the monitor and the vent, both very good products.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
It's nice to meet you.
Be safe.
Okay,
What was it? 210 over 160?
Oh my God.
so we're gonna run our blood pressure here.
You do the shocker too? No.
Our monitor uses the Welch Allen technology, so instead of having a single hose, it has a double hose. So it'll actually try to take the blood pressure on inflation. If it can't, then it will default to the standard way that it would take your blood pressure. I think I put that on now.
It's a little bit wrong.
But you're standing,
There you go.
you're supposed to be laying down or no? You're just
43
standing?
over 72. Just didn't need to have a wax cross.
Yep.
It's a little high for me.
Because you're on the spot.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I did come in here to dust storm, so.
Don't put me on that thing. I'm not the flag for 3 months.
It's hot, Tony.
Anything else you connect will automatically populate, so you'll see there's no extra button presses you have outside of running your blood pressure.
So while they're working on the PCR report on a device,
Yeah, it's the
will it
other.
Bluetooth the information over?
We do Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, or cellular.
That's her
Yep,
pulse.
and that's all built in, so you can choose whichever way works
Her
best.
pulse here, and this is
It's gonna toggle between, so did you see CO? So all the other different options you have with your Massimo will just toggle, so you don't have to click it to view the other
It's just
values
look for
either.
it.
Yep, yeah, and so that'll cycle through. Okay, so now, say we've got some chest pain.
From your voice.
Your relation bones.
No.
You're gonna put the pads on.
It will only defib a fib, and I'm not in fib.
Some clinical studies.
Oh, awesome.
So
Okay, so
Take care of the littles.
for your 12
This
lead,
is my little.
That's awesome.
we teach to follow the 12s, so that's all in training, but we'll hit our 12. One of the greatest things about this monitor and the 12 lead is that they can see all the leads live on the screen. So if they have one that's falling off, or
I have this one in my classroom. I love it.
if they have one that's falling off or not reading correctly, they don't have to acquire it to determine that. They can figure it out beforehand
That's nice.
just by fixing
That's nice.
fixing it there. So can you go back to sinus AMI?
It's got a glare.
Yep, there you go. All right, so now we will run our 12 lead. It'll ask, so my demo device isn't doing it, but it'll ask you for age and gender as well. That's important. So it's gonna
And what are you
print.
gonna do about it? You're gonna drive faster?
Treat the patient, not the monitor.
There you go, ma'am. There you go. Good answer.
It's gonna print, but it'll also give you the all the values on the screen. So it says here anterior infarct, and then you can toggle. So say your print gets wet, or rips or something. You can always see it on here also. So not just in the printout. So you can even do a comparison of what is right now and what was too. And then, yeah.
And if we implement this today, we say, hey, yes, bring this out here, you would come out and teach the whole crews how to use this machine.
We actually have a separate team of actual paramedics.
But
that
I'm
do
saying,
that.
but y'all
Yes.
do that.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's included. Because you probably want to hear from them instead of me.
Are they local?
I am a nurse, but what?
Are they local?
No. But we would,
Local?
well, I'm local.
Yeah, they are loco.
You gotta be a little crazy anyway.
I like it. I like it.
I would be your local contact, and I would be here for the training. So, yeah, they help you put a deployment plan in place. I mean, they do, like Chicago Fire, they're doing
The
right now. So
implementation.
they have a lot of experience
Yeah.
in what works and what doesn't.
So that was one of George's questions earlier. If we got equipment, someone would come out and teach it. So,
Yep. You can send your 12 lead off here. You can have your hospitals loaded in there, or you can just send it to your Coursera and then go from there and send it to the hospital. Any questions on the 12 lead piece? No. Okay, I'm gonna shut the monitor off so we can restart it here.
you're very distracting, son.
So, do you guys bake? Does anyone here bake?
Oh, no,
Yes?
No? Why?
because I don't have an oven.
Oh, well, yep.
It's
there
a
you
good
go.
reason.
It's hard though too, right? It takes a lot of practice, a lot of measurements that really matter, right? If you have too much flour, too much butter, etc., it's not gonna turn out well. So for CPR, AHA tells you have to have a rate, depth, recoil, time off the chest, preventing hyperventilation, all these things, right, that you have to pay attention to at one time. So imagine trying to bake when you don't have any measuring spoons. Could you do that?
With a pinch of this.
I mean, you can try, right?
Spread that.
Julia Child could.
He did it, then you did it. I'm gonna do it.
But essentially, we have the capability to show you audio and visual real-time feedback on your CPR. So it's going to coach you through
See you,
your
Patrick.
rate. Bye, Patrick. Nice to meet you.
Bye, thank
Take
you.
care.
Your rate, your depth. It's going to show you recoil, so making sure you're coming off the chest, all in real time. Because if we're just doing CPR, it's kind of like driving without a speedometer, right? Like you're doing it and you think you're doing it great, but you don't really know. And that's kind of one of the things as a provider where it's just comforting to really know, that you did everything right. It's also a great tool for, QA/QI. The monitor collects all that data, like Marcus said. All of it will go up to the case review platform, so you can review each case. Okay. So I'm gonna start some CPR here. So did you guys
very good.
see that box that popped up? Not too fast.
So you have your depth indicator here, right? So that's showing you in inches, 2 inches in depth. Here's your rate. Your release or your recoil index gives you an indication of if you're getting full release off the chest, right? Because you might be doing 2 inches, but you might only be coming up half an inch and you're just back down. And you're not getting, and then that's a perfusion index, so that's a qualitative measure of blood flow to the heart. So we always know we want to shock a fully perfused heart. Once compressions cease, you can see that that kind of drains like the heart, and then when you start compressions, it will fill back up again. Yeah, so it's a, you know, it's just a great, so some folks don't, and then you, of course you have the idle timer, which is going to tell you how long you've been off the chest. So even if you're not looking at the rate and depth and everything else, you know if you're keeping that full, you're providing adequate CPR based on the guidelines.
And as you heard, so if you go outside of your rate, it's gonna start the metronome so that you can match it. And then if you're going too shallow, it'll tell you to push harder. And it even gives you a pat on the back when you correct the impressions.
I heard it tell you that.
Yeah, so then, do you guys see, obviously you see these. So this one's coming from the pads. This one says filtered ECG. What?
Oh,
so if I start CPR, and I can't actually mimic it with this simulator, but when we're doing compressions, we're causing artifact on the rhythm, right? So that's why we have to get off the chest, check for a pulse. Well, that takes quite a bit of time.
Right.
And AHA really wants you under 10 seconds of being off the chest. So the monitor will actually filter out your artifact so you can get a sneak peek of what your underlying rhythm is. So, and the benefit of that is, hey, you know, we have something that looks like VFib. Go ahead and charge up the monitor. Yeah. Do you want to do it for me?
Oh, we're just going to charge?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So then you could say,
Clear.
well, wait, confirm my rhythm. Okay, shock. So, and jump right back on the chest.
While it's monitoring your ability to perform good compressions, you can go ahead and get that charging.
Exactly. And then if you checked it and it wasn't shockable, you just dump the charge. There's a couple ways you can do that.
Or hit the analyze button.
And then, so this is specifically for adults, these pads are, but we also have pediatric pads with CPR feedback. How many pediatric calls do you do?
One a year, maybe?
Too many.
Right.
One too many.
Well, it's always,
Too many.
the worst,
Pediatric
right?
calls? Any idea what Allegiance says?
I didn't separate them. Well, so you can also get this on the pediatric patient. There was a study done out of Philadelphia, CHOP, that basically found that only 19% of the time were they doing the appropriate depth on a kid because you don't want to push too hard.
But this monitor will allow you to use the adult pads on the pediatric patient.
Well, so we have pediatric pads.
It has a pediatric
I'm
version of
asking you that. If
Oh.
Christy and I are on the truck and we used our
Yeah.
pediatric pads earlier, and all I have left is adult pads.
Yeah, you can.
It's going to allow me to use those with that monitor.
Yeah, you would switch it to pediatric mode.
Right, but
we also have, if you have the pads though, and you plug them in, it's automatically
Has the
gonna switch to
attenuator?
pediatric. So it'll lower the joules 50, 70, 85, and then on the adult, it's 120, 150, 230.
so it has the built-in attenuator.
Yep. We also have the only pediatric AED algorithm on the market that's approved by the FDA. So a lot of benefits on the pediatric side. What else?
And in an event, we can have this monitor and all the data pulled.
Yep. You can pull it with a USB stick, or you can pull it Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, or cellular.
All right.
Does it work with the other device you just saw?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Here's the printout of the. If you guys want to see it.
You answered that question for me when we were in town, but Tony and George weren't there. neither was Shelley, so. I
Oh,
wanted
with
you to
the
answer
other
it again.
device?
Yeah, with the
With the
pads and everything.
okay.
But they weren't there, so I just,
Yeah.
So just one simple question, if the quote decides to get passed from the board and everything, how long will it take to get this equipment to put on our ambulances?
Anywhere between 30 to 90 days.
That way they kind of know.
You know, it's not like that 18 months to 36 months for an ambulance.
No.
That way they kind of know what the time frame
Yeah.
is. So,
And it depends on honestly when you need them. Zoll's really good about that. It's like, tell us when you need it and we'll find a way to figure it out. You know, whether that be sooner.
and with the lease program, you could do monthly payments, quarterly payments, or yearly payments?
Correct.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Brian talk about that. He knows more about it than I do.
and should
Do
we
you have any other
paperwork
questions?
it
It
again?
is, but again, they weren't there with us when we were asking them,
I gave you all your paperwork last week, right?
yeah, but did they read?
We quoted it annually in an annual payment, but if you were to prefer quarterly or monthly, it's just,
It's a possibility that we could go with that.
oh yeah, doesn't matter to us.
And then is there also maintenance involved?
Yeah, it's included. So you have worry-free, which even covers accidental damage.
They
So
come
anything
out
beyond catastrophic repair. So if Zoll can fix it, it's covered. If it went to the bottom of a lake for 2 days and you pulled it out and there were barnacles on it and you sent it into Zoll, they might say, well, this is beyond
It's
our...
got water damage.
Yeah, take the screwdriver out of the screen before you send it to Zoll.
So in other words, when the ambulance catches fire, be sure and grab the Zoll equipment off of it.
would
Well,
probably
that
still be
actually
in there.
is considered accidental. As long as it wasn't intentionally set.
So your maintenance records and everything, will they be available, when they come and do it, will it be available online? Or will it be something that they'll give us a piece of paper so we can keep it on record?
Oh, well, anytime you need a
In Travis County.
service request, just call us.
With the state.
Yeah.
They got audited out of nowhere.
Yep.
So he called me up, can we get, I even like sent a big thank you note to our service team because this is how great they are. He calls me, says they need the service records. I don't have them, of course. So I call the guys, he emailed it within 2 minutes and had all the service records.
Yeah.
You'll get a copy as
Okay.
well. But just so you know, I mean, the service guys are so good. They
I
really
just want to
are.
make sure, because when I was reading all the notes, it now is mandatory that we have them
Keep
in
them on
our
hand.
hands. It used to be where you could just like, okay, well, it's in the files, but now it has to be with the equipment.
Yeah, he said he had to go through it with the person next to him on the computer,
Yep.
so. Yeah, that's crazy.
Okay, you want to see the
Yeah.
vent real quick?
Yes, please.
All right, we'll make it quick and painless.
I'm not volunteering for that one.
No, this will do too much damage. I mean,
Swallow.
put a mask on you. So this is just the backpack that you can either have with the vent or not have with it. It makes it nice to carry around, at least for me. I'll get that out. And then I'll get the circuit here. So bag is optional. At a minimum, you're going to get a carry cage. So this is the transport ventilator. It sits inside this carry cage, obviously it can come out. The nice part about the cage is that it's going to protect the vent, kind of like a cell phone case, right? So any bumps, drops, bruises, it's going to take the brunt of the impact. These hooks will swivel out, lock into place, so it can just hang from the stretcher or something like that. There's also a dovetail mount that will allow for it to mount in the ambulance if you prefer that. I'll take it out of the cage for now. But there's 3 real main reasons folks gravitate towards this transport ventilator. Kind of the 3 hallmarks, if you will. It's durability, it's portability, and the ease of use, right? So when you talk about durability, this device is also used throughout the military, so it has to pass all the military specs for IP rating, drop tests, jetting water, dust particulates, all that stuff. So rest assured it's going to meet the rigors of your all's environment in terms of durability. Portability, it's about 10.5 pounds as it sits here. 10-hour lithium-ion battery on a full charge. So the battery is integrated into the device. So fully charged is going to give you 10 hours of runtime. Internal or fresh air intake and internal compressor will allow the ventilator to operate without compressed gas or oxygen. So like a lot of the older ventilators, you had to have that oxygen ready to use with the vent. And then, oh, by the way, it burned half that oxygen running the vent, the bias flow. So because this has the fresh air intake and the internal compressor, it'll operate on room air And then if you do hook up oxygen, it's not going to use the bias
So more
flow
like a
from your-
concentrator,
Well, yeah, like a turbine.
pulling it in.
But,
Okay.
but it doesn't have to be replaced
I have to
every
be able to
3
see
years
it.
like a turbine. Yeah, so your oxygen conservation, you know, in your longer transports, you'll see that oxygen consumption really improve compared to the older pneumatic vents, to give you kind of a frame of reference.
Right.
Up here on the top of the vent is where your circuit connects. Circuits are about $14, so really low cost of ownership, very inexpensive to utilize. They're color-coded connections, so when you go to use the vent, you're going to connect your green hose to your green port. The silver one goes here to the clear hose, and then your gas output connects up top. Talk about ease of use, kind of being the last thing people really love. So when you go to use the vent, if you can connect the circuit, you're pretty much ready to go, right? So when you turn the ventilator on, it's going to ask you what type of patient you're treating. So you've got really 3 options. You've got your adult, your pediatric, or your masked patient. So if you're doing non-invasive, BiPAP, CPAP, those are your top 3. And then you've got a custom settings option. So you can have one of your settings. If you change a lot of different settings for like a CPR, cardiac arrest call, you can save that to your custom so you don't have to go and make those changes every time. And then last patient, so if you have the device set up, turn it off, turn it on, it'll save those settings, right? So when you go to use the vent, as long as you can tell this device I'm connected to an adult, a ped, it's gonna power on in lung protective settings. So in adult mode, it's in assist control, tidal volume of 450. I'm going through it kind of quick. I would have taken you through kind of the buttonology of it, but you've got your tidal volume, your rate. So it's powered on in a lung protective setting based on the AARC guidelines. So if I were ready to ventilate this patient in adult mode, I would hit the green check mark. I would connect the patient. I can already tell this is going to give me, there we go. And it's ventilated. So within 4 seconds, you can get this device on, connected. You know, obviously it's going to take more time to do everything you need for your stack, but you can be ventilating very quickly and safely. So worst case scenario is if you turn this on and hit go, it's going to give that patient 450 tidal volume 12 times a minute, right? And then from there, if you want to make changes, we follow a terminology, touch, turn, confirm. So if I wanted to change my volume, touch, turn, I can give that patient 500. If I needed to change my rate, touch, turn, confirm. I'm at 21% room air. If I were to take that up to 100, right? So you want to get 100% oxygen on board, confirm that. But the device doesn't like that, so it's giving me an alert. Why do we think that is?
It's too much.
Well, I don't have, right, because I don't have any oxygen, right? So I triggered that alert on purpose. I'm gonna silence the audible alert, but what I wanna show you is anytime an alarm sounds on the device gives you what we call smart help alarm logic. So it brings up 5 or 6 bullets on how to alleviate that alarm. So for instance, this one's telling me operation switch to compressor, check regulator. I think the 4th one down, it says set FiO2 back to 21. You guys see that? So if I said, oh yeah, everything else was fine, every 30 seconds it'll re-alarm the audible piece. If I turn that FiO2 back down to 21, what you told me to do, it'll clear the alert. Okay? So the device is really going to help you mitigate any of those alerts, alarms, and that's if anything. So if a tube comes loose, right, it still has the 30 seconds alarm sign. It's going to prompt the rescuer, check your tubing, check your patient, right? I think the last thing it says is manually ventilate, but as soon as it fixes the alarm, it alleviates or it clears the alert.
Dummy-proof.
Somewhat.
It's like an AED.
And then for your non-invasive mode, so if you guys were ever using like disposable CPAP or BiPAP, you can do that on this ventilator now, and you can get that patient a lot more comfortable on the vent because there's just more settings that you can fine-tune to get that patient synchronized. So if we were going to do mass CPAP, we're going to use our dial, turn it down to mass CPAP, hit the green check. I'll have to give some breaths to the patient here. So now in that mode window, it displays CPAP with leak compensation. It's going to show me my patient, my ventilatory rate, my volume. I have pressure support I can add in addition to PEEP. If I want to switch to bi-level, touch, turn, confirm. Now it's got an IPAP over EPAP. We can get into all that stuff later. What I want to show you here is if you took your eyes off the patient, and they're in bi-level, so they're supposed to be spontaneously breathing on their own.
Right.
And if for some reason you were maybe charting, doing something, and the patient went apneic, The device, after 10 seconds, it's going to recognize that. It's going to go into apnea backup mode. So it's going to start bagging the patient for you, essentially. And it's going to give you your alert. And what's it going to say? Check patient, set your device back to assist control, set your rate, set your volume, because it thinks the patient isn't breathing on their own. If you know, the patient came out of it or it cleared the alert, it'll alleviate the alarm for you. Oh. And then what happens if your device comes unconnected? It's going to tell you. Yeah, red light goes on. Patient disconnect. So that's your non-invasive mode, CPAP and BiPAP. And then we also have SINV mode for your pediatric population, or for patients that are starting to come off sedation. They might be triggering some of their own breaths where they may not need that full assist control breath. You want to let them take their own breath, and then you can add pressure support. So we have agencies from just your 911 type, first responder type agencies running with this vent in the very basic mode that it can be used in, and then we have like Memorial Hermann Life Flight that flies with our vent, right? And they see the sickest of the sick. So you don't have to be an RT to use this vent, but if you are an RT, you will appreciate a lot of the extra settings that it offers. But very simple in its most basic use. And of course we include all the training, warranty, everything like that. And they run with this vent all around town. So if you wanted to talk to some of your peers, that's what I always, don't take our word for it, right? We can put you in touch with other folks that are running this equipment, and they can kind of give you their 2 cents. All right? Unless there's questions. This is always the way people are just kind of like.
You got any questions? Fantastic.
Well, I appreciate you guys, your time, and for considering us. Yeah, we love it. That's what we do. If everything, if you guys are kind of doing your post debrief, kind of going through your options and stuff, how soon are you all looking to kind of make a decision on everything?
Well, we want to have our medical director and our EMS director in place.
What are the next steps? Should we
Mid to late May.
Okay, so next steps are get your medical direction involved, get their sign off. If everything moves accordingly.
Yeah, there's no hiccups.
May timeframe.
There seems to be bumps everywhere we go.
That's to be expected, right?
That's life. That's not
life.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would say mid-May or end of May.
And it's about a 30-day lead time on the vent.
Okay.
Still well within that time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because even if we do hit our drop dead date goal, October 1, which is that date.
Perfect. Yeah, so we've got some time.
Yeah.
And if any other questions come up on the way the lease program works as well, definitely give us a holler. We're happy to come back down and do this.
Wait another couple hours?
Hey, whatever it takes.
All the paperwork that you sent us is about the lease program. Is that correct? The paperwork?
But it's the year, right?
Yep.
Okay. It's the year, not the quarter or the month.
If you want us to change it, just let us know.
Well, I understand that. I'm just saying that's what he quoted us was the year.
Usually, most folks like to know what their annual outlay is going to be,
Absolutely.
and they just budget for that amount.
And that's what we did, but it may be a case that we just pay you the monthly, but this way I have a yearly rate with my treasurer.
Perfect.
Cool.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Can I have some of your books?
Oh yeah, we'll take some of that. We'll take all that with us.
Can we have some?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Is there anything official to be said about who that was you guys were talking
Oh,
about?
she's a medical director.
Medical director of what?
We're medical director.
Of what?
For the EMS, for EMS.
For this EMS service?
Yeah, we were interviewing him for that.
Okay, it's just job interview.
Yes.
Okay, well, I didn't understand what was going on.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, she's a medical director.
And I'm not familiar with it.
I knew you were getting it. I just didn't know when you were getting it.
Yes, okay, so the reason we have these checked is because we have online QuickBooks now, because we moved to the payroll. But I'm a little confused with a couple of the steps, because it is set up different than the way it is. So before I did these checks, I have a call into, what is that? No, what's the auditor guy?
Intuit City.
Auditor guy's name.
Oh.
Trevor.
I know.
Oh, the new dude.
The new dude at the audit. I don't know his name at the moment. asking him how to do it, so that way I don't mess up the online QuickBooks.
And what did he say? We just scribble it out?
No, we have to go in and edit it and then send it back, because he wasn't aware of that either. But because it's on the agenda to be approved, the way that the wording needs to state is approved to sign document with the changes of the mayor and then whoever the mayor is.
Yeah, because we can't have somebody sign that's not the mayor anymore.
But it's on the agenda tonight. So that's the way he said it to do it, and then he is going to, once, he didn't know either. He said he didn't know the mayor wasn't the mayor.
Yeah, Chip was voting the
Because it's still, he said he got the mayor name from the website.
it's the tall Hispanic guy, not Chip anymore.
Did you know that Chip wasn't the mayor?
No.
I heard, he lost the.
Yeah, he lost the election.
Ortiz. Wow. Is it Ortiz or no?
I believe it's Ortiz, but I don't know the first name.
Yeah.
But he was already on the city council board, and now he's mayor. And I believe Chip is on as the board, where I think they basically just switched. But I don't remember Ortiz's last name. But if we're gonna sign a contract, we need to have it legal.
Yeah, we're not gonna sign a contract. He's
We're
not-
just gonna approve it.
We're going to approve the contract with the changing of the,
Okay.
he said you know how to word it, so.
Yeah, probably.
Right along.
Now I gotta find this damn meeting. so-
All right, so has anybody looked at the minutes?
No, my phone thing, I died. Yeah.
Do you have that email? from
What
Ken?
email?
I can't find the email from Ken with that on it, but we'll discuss that later. Right now, let's just keep going, because it's.
It's getting late. Our Jack Daniels is getting watered down in the freezer.
Well, no, it doesn't.
Shouldn't have put ice in it.
Right?
Does all that pizza have sauce on it?
So there's a salad up there.
Somebody else tried to kill me.
How was anybody supposed to know that? How were they supposed to know that?
They could ask me if I was gonna die. Can you
Can
see
you?
your agenda, please?
You
Because
can't
my
eat
thing
with the
does-
sauce, right?
It's got, no, it doesn't give me heartburn. It tries to kill me, literally. It closes my throat.
Oh
The
my God.
preservatives in it.
MSG?
Okay, so I got when we exited, when we entered it, somebody needs to make a motion coming out of the executive session. That was the only thing we didn't do.
So what do we need to make a motion about?
What does it need to say?
No decisions were made.
I make a motion to move forward as discussed with the, I'm looking at my paper, give me a second. As, you put in that last minutes. Because Ken had me say it before.
But we didn't go into it this way. Attorney made a motion to.
Proceed as deliberated, authorize, but we're not authorizing anything.
Yeah, we're not.
Motion, make a motion to proceed as deliberated.
Yes, that, yeah.
I have a motion, can I get a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Unanimous.
All right.
So can we go ahead and do the minutes and the treasurer's report? We do those as one.
The minutes look good.
Minutes look good.
One silver.
I'm trying to get him to sign mine.
And we're in April. So that news check for Ken's not in here, right?
No, I'll add it to the next month's meeting.
Okay.
But just so you guys do know that we did get our check from,
Capital.
so our check from Capital is in, so I've got to call, just call one on the phone.
That's not one.
The 400 and whatever it was for the ambulances have been deposited into our account. So they are now into our accounts. We just have to wire the money from there to,
Hang on, we just have you on speakerphone, okay?
Okay.
wire the money from there, from our bank to Siddons to pay for the 2 ambulances. Both ambulances have been delivered to Siddons, and they are pinstriping it now. All they're waiting for us right now is to find out whether or not we're going to do with Stryker. Stryker, I called them today and left them a message because Gretchen gave us their contact that they deal with. So I'm waiting for them to contact back. So we're gonna have to transfer. But we've got 7,000 and some change that came in from sales tax. And we also want, just to let you know, we did get our Allegiance check. Finally.
Okay.
So I'll make both of those deposits tomorrow because I'm off tomorrow and make it from there. Then I will go through the deposits, figure out how much we owe Allegiance from when we gave them that invoice, and we'll pay them on the next meeting, which I believe is the 16th of April, 15th of April, something like that.
It's the Tuesday, that's the 16th.
So I'll have that check ready to go with that. That's April 16th.
So George and I are gonna come screaming in again.
Depends on where you place it. This one's at Floresville.
So, any questions on the
Oh, dear
treasurer's
God.
report?
I'm a dilly that day.
The 16th?
It's only an hour, less than an hour.
You guys, if the 16th is not gonna work for everybody.
But if we can do this, if you can start me on the Zoom, I can come in late.
I'm in Wolverines. Let's say Wolverines, isn't it?
That's Dilly.
No, Dilly Wolves.
No, the
you're
Wolverines
right.
is San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
So someplace there, but yeah.
But if you can start us on Zoom and then we can come in, is that okay, Tony?
I'll leave again at 6,
Okay.
6:30. I'll be.
Alright.
Especially on,
I just need somebody to make a motion.
You need a motion to let me and George, or
No,
what?
motion to accept the treasurer's
Oh,
minutes.
I make a motion to accept the treasurer's report and the minutes.
have a motion and a second. All those
Treasurer,
in
do you
favor?
have any questions about the treasurer's report?
No.
All those in favor?
Do you want a piece of paper?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Unanimous. So on the C, we gotta get a new contract on that, right?
Yes, so Viola was reviewing the contract, we'll
Yes,
explain
we should.
later. So she was reviewing the contract, that apparently the mayor is wrong.
Right.
Called Ken Campbell because it was on the agenda to take action tonight. So he said, to go ahead and accept the contract as presented
With changes.
with the changes
Changes
of
of the
The mayor.
Of the mayor. And then, once that's approved, I will send it to you for you to sign.
Okay.
Then send it back to Ken Campbell. Ken Campbell will sign it and then send it over to whatever attorney is involved with Natalia, and then send it over to, I guess, the new mayor.
Okay.
I'll call tomorrow and get Ortiz's first name, and then I'll
Okay.
give it to
Because
you
I'll
guys.
have to, there should only be this one page that we'll have to change. I guess we could sign it, right? No? Because it's just this page.
I'll put my own. Yeah, because you'll have to notarize
No, they have to notarize it.
their own.
Yeah. So you should be able to sign this
Yeah,
one.
you should be able to sign your page.
Yeah.
And then I'll call in the morning. I don't remember
And we'll
Ortiz's
change
last name. I mean, first name.
Because one will be our copy, and one will be
Right.
Memnet's copy.
But both have to go back over
But
there.
if not, then.
Now, I'm wondering, do we have to go to the city council meeting to get that signed, or do I just need to make an appointment? What did
When
Ken
I
say?
send it over to Ken to get Ken to sign it, then I'll ask that
Ask that.
question, and I'll make sure you're CC'd on the email.
Here's this one you took.
I'm just gonna go ahead and give you these papers.
I don't need it.
Oh, no, you can't, okay. Go ahead and, because I gotta sign it. So that's what you're gonna do.
Tommy, but I don't know if it goes by Thomas or Tommy, but let me make sure.
Okay.
Where's that one?
I kept looking at his face, so I knew I would get it eventually.
So do we have,
Just make a motion to accept the interlocal corporation
Okay.
agreement
With
with the
the-
city of Denitalia with the correction of the mayor.
Yes,
Exactly what she said, I motioned that.
I said it.
Yeah, that's what
so,
But my question is, there's no monetary amount in here.
because there's,
what did Ken say?
I think
But
they.
Ken said we can't be willed it because we're both government entities. I'll get the name, and when you send it to Ken, you can ask that question too, please.
Let's make sure there's not one there.
I didn't see it.
the way it talks, it's like interlocal agreement, there's
And-
not an exchange of funds.
Yes. That's how I understand, but that's completely different from the original conversation. So I just want to make sure that,
Yeah,
that we don't, not signing something that we're gonna have to give them all our assets if something
No,
happens.
if you read the thing, it's basically saying they're giving us the property as long as it remains an EMS station.
I read that, I did read that. But as long as Ken approves it, then I'm good.
Okay, move on to the next one.
okay, so, do we have any information on the bays for the?
It was George and then me.
Fans for the bay,
Now,
okay.
well, I don't know, you tell me, have you talked to Mustang Electric? It's the only job you have, Tony. I think we need to find somebody else to do it because I can't get a hold of him.
I've called him a couple of
All
times.
right, so I need an electrician.
Yes.
I've called him a couple
There
of
you go.
times, but I have never,
I just put it right there.
and I leave a message.
I
This is the
I-
scientific stuff from the Zoll people, if anybody wants to read it.
Okay,
I think we should just move forward and finding another electrician.
Okay.
okay.
But while we're on updates, it's not on the agenda, but just as an update for you guys, because we've already approved it. We're gonna change the fencing just a tad, and the reason is because I was thinking, if we block all of our property, there's no parking for citizens. None whatsoever. They literally will have to come through the gate. So what I walked with Tony and what we thought would be a better idea is to bring it on the other side of the plaque that's out there.
The flagpole.
On the other side of the flagpole, bring the fence further back, go across, come across, and then come all the way around the building, but only come to where the fire alarm system is. Leave the fire alarm system outside the gate and our plaque outside the gate. Make that little section into a 4, 5, 6, whatever parking spaces we can get right there. So then that way the public can park there, still have access to our building, but then we can block this way. So there's that little change in the thing, so it will deduct some of the cost. Materials. And stuff like that, so I just wanted to give you that update, because I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, how are these people gonna be
Is
parking
it
in the parking lot?
is it gonna cost less, or is it gonna cost us more because we're changing it?
No, it's gonna cost us less.
Less.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
But because we're going to him with changes after
No,
the
no, no,
fact.
I called him, because I asked him before I brought it to your attention, I said, hey, we didn't think about this, so what do you think of this? Can this be done now that we've already spent? He goes, all it would do was we'd deduct some of the cost.
Yeah.
Because now we're shortening the length.
Cost.
So, I just wanted to give you guys an update on that.
Fantastic. So, on B, the EMS program, that's pretty much,
Strack. I thought we agreed on Strack.
No, this is just an update on this program.
Oh.
I could have worded it different, I guess. So, we had a very good turnout on the EMS directors. We have 9 candidates. So with that, it's closed now, so there's no more candidates being available. So what I propose to you is that we contact them, set them up for interviews, do interviews the 3rd week of April.
Have you contacted that board though? Are they available?
I have 3 board members and Terry is not one because Terry never returned my phone call twice.
And she kept asking me, when's she calling me, when's she calling me?
I called her twice. And I'll show you my phone.
And that's fine, but she kept calling me, when am I supposed to do this, when am I supposed to do this?
So we do have it, I can still reach out to Terry to see, but I did call Terry, but we do have 2 boys and 1 female. They come in, I asked them to give us 3 days, do 3 interviews on one day, 3 interviews on the next day, 3 interviews on the following day, 45-minute interviews.
We're interviewing all 9?
Yes.
No, you're not interviewing.
no, the board is, not
Not
this
you,
board.
the committee.
You're only interviewing the ones that get filtered. The one that get chosen as they're capable.
They all 3 agreed, the 3 that I talked to. I haven't talked to Terry, but I will reach out to her.
Who's
again.
the other girl?
Adair from Airlight. So they would be 45 minutes. They agreed to 3 days. I just told them to give me 3 days and then I'll kind of combine them together. Taking all of the questions, I just got your questions. I got Vi's already. I have
No, mine are medical director questions.
Okay, so I need your 5 EMS. I got yours. Tony sent 1 and then Juan sent 1. So I've combined them. Some of you guys all think alike.
No.
Yes, so it was the same question, just
Different
reworded differently. So right now we have 6 questions minus yours and y'all's. So there'll be up to between 7 to 10 questions because there's some that are really, that are important, some that didn't match. So I kind of like took 2 or 3 of each one of these. And then they will interview, answer all the questions, come back with their recommendations, and then we will interview them. You guys will set up interviews for you to interview them at the next monthly meeting, not the secondary meeting, the monthly meeting.
So that would be
May,
June?
whatever it is. No,
May?
May
The
7th.
first Tuesday of May. No.
That's May 7th?
Mhm.
That's when I take my
How- How many are we going to interview?
3.
Only 3?
Yes.
Tres.
You're gonna go from 9 to 3?
Yes.
Well, yeah, they're gonna break them down. All right.
Now, if there's one that, is semi to each one of them, then of course then we may have more we may have to set up, but I was just assuming 3 out of the 9. And it's just because some of your questions may not necessarily move them on to the next step. The only reason I say that.
Why? What were your questions?
How much would you?
Can you play well with other people?
So we don't even know what the questions are?
Yeah, you know what your questions are, yes. You know what your questions are, yeah.
But you know what all the questions are.
Yeah.
So that's on EMS.
That's all the things I don't know where she is. That's the only thing I have updated.
Do you have anything else on EMS?
No.
It's right here in my face.
Okay, so the next meeting's the 7th, as we just discussed.
No.
All right?
Next meeting is the
Yeah,
16th.
yeah, the next regular meeting.
Okay.
The next meeting's the 16th.
So
Any-
real quick,
Yes.
I just wanted to, so the reason I asked that question I did, because seeing the applicants we had originally worried me on starting up a whole new shop and not having a great pool of people who have experience actually being the directors. And so I still have that fear, and I'm trying to figure out, do we need to increase the salary to attract people with experience? Or why is it we're not getting a good pool of experience, anybody with experience
For what?
EMS director.
EMS.
for EMS director?
Well, how do you know they're not
I
qualified?
know, we just got 9.
Well, no,
The medical director.
nobody has
No,
actual
EMS
director
director.
experience except one.
You can ask me questions, I'm just not gonna tell you who the applicants are.
What are you talking about?
He asked a
My questions
question.
are for the board. I'm not trying to find out.
No. He asked a question. That's what I'm saying. You guys can ask any questions. I'm just not going to tell you who the applicants are. His question to me was, does any of the applicants have director position? Director experience. So we have 9 applicants.
Yeah.
5 have the experience of EMS.
Okay.
But 1 has EMS director experience. That's where he's going with that.
Okay, so 5 have what?
Experience as
EMS experience.
Just EMS.
No, supervisor experience.
Supervisor experience, okay, but only 1 has director experience,
correct.
gotcha.
And that's where he's asking the question. Do we want to
Yeah, I'm
up it?
sorry. I thought all y'all knew that. I do apologize.
No, I didn't even know we could ask questions. I didn't know we weren't gonna know anything.
Well, I think it's important.
I know.
Absolutely.
I think it's important you get an email when you're supposed to too.
You can ask the questions, but one, I prefer not to say the candidates.
What's that?
I can answer any of the questions, but I prefer not to say the candidates at this time.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if you know.
It's up to you. We can go into executive session again.
No, I'm good.
The only problem, Juan, is if we go out again, we're gonna be another month down the road.
We're gonna what?
We'll be another month down the road before we have a decision on that.
Well, what if we don't have a good candidate though?
Well,
Now we've gone
Then
this
we'll have-
process and still have to do this again.
yeah, that's true. I don't know what the rate is for EMS director. What do
I think we put in the budget, the range between 85 to 100, I believe is what we put. Because there's some that make, like, I can tell you the EMS director in Hondo makes $95,000 a year. The EMS chief in Castroville makes $110,000 a year.
And this is the thing. Nobody with experience is going to move for a lateral salary, right? So we got to be able to pay more than what they're making in general for somebody to make a move.
Then where's the growth?
So
Then
if
where's
we're
the
saying
incentive
our
to
high
grow?
end is what, 100?
Yes.
110 is the highest, I believe.
Is that what we posted?
No, we didn't post any salary.
Oh.
So
So they don't even know what we're willing to pay.
Nope.
Is that commonplace in this field?
Yes.
Unfortunately, yes.
It's a range, usually it's a range, and usually it's done by experience. So your experienced EMS director could make the 110. Or if you have somebody that you think that you can grow with the company, would make 85 to 90,000. So, I have no gain in this at all, other than to just give my opinion. My opinion is let them interview him, let them come with their opinions. You guys interview him, and if you don't like them, you go back to the drawing board.
Back to the drawing board, yeah.
I mean, because you could have 10 or 15 years of experience, but unless it's good experience and not bad habit experience, they're not gonna do you any good.
But how do you know if you have a bad habit unless you get them in there? Right.
We gotta bring them in and talk to them.
So we get burned either way.
And you're gonna know right off the bat when you meet somebody, whether you're not, they're gonna be a good fit for you or not.
Let the candle on both ends.
And I'm just going to go to what the medical director said. It's a different thing to be the director versus a supervisor. And that was my fear all along when I saw the first group of candidates. Again, I'm just posing the question because if we don't like somebody, then we're either So I just thought it was worth talking about.
Oh, absolutely.
We're done with this, so unless you want to meet let them leave, we can go into executive session. That's on the agenda.
Because if we gotta go another round, then we gotta find the same committee, and if these people aren't willing to do it again, then we're searching for committee members to redo another pool. I mean, it's, we're asking a lot from different people. That's why even interviewing the first night seems like a lot. Like, we should be able to weed through some of them and say, well, let's get to 6 and let them interview 6.
So how do you weed through those?
By the questions that you guys
Well,
asked.
I guess I didn't realize we weren't privy to the applicants. I didn't know that it mattered if we knew them upfront or not.
Okay, so let's go into executive session. You good with that?
Yeah. Again, if I'm on an island, you're going.
We're done with it.
No,
We're
I'm on the
actually
same island one. I don't know.
Okay, so we're back in session.
Time.
21:51, so.
Need a motion that we move forward as deliberated.
Make a motion, we move forward as deliberated.
I'll second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign.
All right, I really need to go.
Any other issues?
I have
You guys law?
yeah, we get discuss.
Juan, I sent you the budget. Did you look at it?
I'll look at it right now.
All right, so we're adjourned.
We're meeting adjourned, is it?
Everybody's good with everything?
And this weekend's the.
Festival, that's hot.
Blue Bottom Festival.
Shelly's gonna be there with her snow cone arms. Oh wait, no, she's not.